put on, and we're just up here at the top end of the range, trying to see what we want to do. And just kind of hanging here. Again, this is a follow through from the number, obviously. The bond market kind of did the same there on their highs. They're kind of maybe following the bond market. It almost looks like a bond market chart, actually. Seems to be following in step with the bonds these days. And because they're so concerned about interest rates and what the ramifications of the CPI number is going to present to the Fed, which is going to meet next week. As we continue to uptick here a bit, kind of just hanging here. All right, make sure you keep your stops in place. We're not going to love any trade we put on. And we're just kind of hanging up on the top end of this range. There are the levels in the chat for us. No, we would definitely have our stop being a minimum of 2 points. We are trying to get 2 or 3 points out of these trades, depending on your risk tolerance and how you scale in and so on and so forth. And if you are trading multiple contracts, consequently, if you are trading multiple contracts and we do get an entry point where you can take more than 2 or 3 points on a trade, then we suggest you try to scale out of them just like you scale into them. So all of that is dependent on your risk tolerance. But either way, we're trying to get at least a minimum 2 points with a minimum 2-point stop. And again, like I said, if you can enter a trade and the market rotates off of those levels, it could probably take a little bit more than 2 or 3 points on the trade. But it all depends on how you manage those trades, independent of anybody else. So everybody has their own way of managing it. And risk tolerance, how many contracts you trade, all of that stuff goes in hand with the amount of risk you're willing to take and how you manage it. Everybody here trades it differently. There's not one person that's going to trade the same. Whether it's contracts, number of contracts you trade, where you scale in, scale out, everybody has their own way of getting in. You have to find a way that's comfortable for you and that you are able to do it every time we get to an area of interest. All right, so we bounced up, we got up to 25 and change there, and then rotated quickly back down. And again, this is a consequence of the CPI number. You're going to get the volatility. Consequently, you have to take that into consideration. How you take that into consideration is trade smaller, scale in differently, maybe expand your stops a little bit. And again, our stops are 2 points, but that doesn't necessarily mean we have to stick to it when there's extra volatility in the market because of the number or because the Fed is going to release information or what geopolitical situation might be occurring. We're going to have to expand our stops based on the volatility that we expect in the market. So it's not etched in stone that we're just doing 2 points. It all depends on the market conditions and market price action. All right, well, again, if you do get stopped out, that's fine. We're going to look for our next opportunity. Next upside resistance up at the 31 area. Downside support would be back around our pivot area at 15 if we come back down there. All right, let's see what else is going to be coming out today. Where am I here? There we go. Let's see, we had the CPI number come out. We talked about the headline number being a little bit higher, hotter than expected, but the year to year, or when you take out the volatility of what is it, the core, it's called, they came in less than expected, so kind of a mixed bag in regards to the CPI number, and that's why you have the hiccup there in the markets. As you can see, both of the markets kind of bounced back and forth. Now we're just kind of hanging here, support down at the 15 area. All right, we're just kind of hanging up here on these highs. Let's see, we have Atlanta Fed business inflation expectation coming out here at 9 o'clock. We'll see what that does to the market, if anything. Again, obviously, the market's going to react to the CPI number, but they did, and now we're just kind of seeing where it wants to go next. I mean, one number was, I guess, neutral, even though the top number was worse. And we seem to, again, we talked about consolidating into a little bit of a range here. It seems like what the market's doing, basically 4,500, and yesterday, the day before's high, it's about 45, 40. So it's a very tight 40-point range here over the last 3-4 days. So kind of not really going anywhere fast. Yeah, so obviously we're going to have to show some patience and waiting for opportunities to trade. We do have our levels. Again, we'll repeat the levels in the chat for those of you that come in a little bit late. And those are the areas that we're going to be focusing on to give us our opportunities, our setups. And then, of course, if there's any price action opportunities along the way. And but either way, once the market does open, we just never know what kind of volatility we're going to have. We had a surge right on the opening, and then now they're just kind of not doing much. So we have to be patient. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. There are the levels that we talked about that we're going to be focused in on. So a little number. Yeah, that's what we do. We're looking for home runs. Not trying to hit little base hits, little base hits. That's what we're trying to do. Grand slams. It's fun. They really pulled the plug fast here. And that's what happens. You just never know what's going to happen any day. So, gotta show some patience. Everybody was waiting for this number. The number comes out. It's kind of neutral for the most part. We down tick here a little bit. We're looking at low support down in the 15 area. Yeah, I like that. I like that proverb. Makes sense to me. All right, again, support around the 15 area. Quickly drifted down there to about 17-ish and pop back up. A little choppy, as you can see. Why did they have a little hiccup there? Who knows? Again, we can't guess that these moves are going to happen. All we can do is kind of wait for an area that we want to get long or short, and then you trade in the middle here. You'll be guessing as the direction or where these things stop and go and reverse, but that's not what we're trying to do here. All right, kind of range bound here at the top. We'll see a little number coming out here at 9 o'clock. Not really the biggest number, but you never know. All right, let's see here. All eyes will be turning to the consumer price index report due this morning as traders hope for more clues on whether the Federal Reserve is done with its tightening cycle. The headline inflation rate has been steadily tracking downwards to around 2.5% in the past couple months, while bolstering expectations of softening. However, the core inflation figure remains elevated because of which Fed officials have hesitated to declare victory in their fight to tame inflation. Expectations for the number is to rise to 3.6. We got it in 3.7. accelerating for 3.2 in July. However, the core number, excluding volatility and food, the volatility, food and energy prices expected to increase to 4.4, easing from 4.3, but that came in easing from 4.7, but they came in at 4.3. So there you have the fact that it's kind of a wash, and that's why the market's hiccuping, but bonds would now all of a sudden are liking it. So see what happens here. We're not, we used to, again, follow the bonds, but then we don't follow the bonds. So it's not one of those things that it's there for us to watch. And at some point we do follow them. I think that once the morning trade finishes, then we stop following them. So bonds here making new highs while we're just close to our highs. So, but this is a place here where I call the no trade zone because it's just kind of bouncing around in a little bit of a range. Nothing too exciting. So that was the expectation for these numbers, and that's why one was better and one was not so much better. Apple failed to excite investors with its new iPhone 15 lineup and the next generation Apple Watch, operated by finger movements, while the shares ending the day 1.7% lower. Some analysts expected the iPhone 15 to be more expensive. Apple kept its prices unchanged. Really? It's nice of them. The 15 includes a dynamic island interface previously exclusive to 14 Pro and Pro Max, and the Pro Vision will feature a new A17 chip, which should upgrade the gaming experience. And all new products are going to have another new charging port. It's called the USB-C charging port, compliance with the European law. Yeah, it's when I was abroad over summer, they had some people had the new charging port. Of course, I thought mine was okay. I never heard of this new one, and it does work a little faster, that's for sure. But gotta get rid of another. Soon enough, you'll get rid of all the ones that we had. This is what is the third one that they have? Since these phones came out, third charging. What do you call it? The cords. All right, we're kind of slowly drifting down. Let's support around the 15 area. If you're a little aggressive, little price action play, little place to get long. If you're waiting for that, if not, our level down is at the 08. If you're more risk averse, you're looking at that area. We're coming down here to the 15 area, a little support down in here. We're a little buying opportunity again. It's a price action play, so if you're looking for our levels, is down at the 08. Come down here to 15 area here. Again, we're just doing a little scalp if we can, if the market gives us that opportunity. If not, we're just keeping our stop in place. We are not going to love any trade we put on. And nice little quick rotation here off of the 15 area. And if you're trading multiple contracts, maybe you're going to try to take a little bit more out of it here. Again, depending on well, they did go down to 1475. So if you had 15, we actually got filled, and a nice little quick rotation off of that little support area here. Again, just a little bit of patience and waiting for the market to give us an opportunity instead of just jumping in there before when it's just bouncing around going nowhere. All right, so nice little quick rotation there off of the little support area that we had. The next support level on the outside is down at 08. All right, again, drifting down here to this little support area that the market has. We had the 15, you traded it nicely. Obviously, our blue bands come in there 14 and a quarter. The settlement price here is 13.75. But if you traded the 15 and you made money on it, and we'll just look at the 08 on the downside. If you're a little aggressive, you might be taking those other opportunities. All right, you can see here a nice little bounce there off of our blue band area, 15 area that we talked about. And if you either bought some more on the rotation back, or if you stayed long, you're getting a nice little pop up here. Again, everybody here trades it differently. If you were looking to get long, that's the area you're going to get long, and if you want to take a little bit more out of it, then the market gave you that opportunity. If you just took your scalp, you did good. All right. Market rotating back up here. And if that's where the downside support there at the 15 area was where we were looking to get long, if you want to get long. And if you scalped it, that's good. If you're trying to stay along with it, that's even better. Either way, you should have been able to make a little bit of money against that 15 area. And that's a price action plays, like I said earlier. And the market created that opportunity for us. The VIX is trading at a 1386, 13 handle on very quiet as we rotate back up here to this middle of the the interim highs, but also the middle of the range that the market has created over the last couple of days. All right. Got back up here again to 23 area earlier, kind of resistance area there. You can see how it's kind of stopped there a couple times. And I've said this before, finds an area and decides to kind of hang. You can always use that exit strategy that the market creates above or below an area that the market creates a shelf, and use that as an exit strategy for any short or long. But again, that's a price action play. It also depends on your price and your risk tolerance. All right, next upside resistance is up at the 31 area. All right, and kind of bounced off of that top end of that range that the market created and come back down here. And like I said, next support level that we have on the downside is 08. So we come down here to the bottom end of that range. And now we kind of bust through a little bit looking at the 08 level next. See our green bands coming in there at 11. If you're so inclined. Okay, again, the green band coming in there at 11. Right down to 1075 there if you were looking for a little price action play. Got a little bit of a pop back up. More risk averse, you're looking at the 08. There's different price action plays. I don't mention all of them all the time. But again, that's if you're interested in any of that, let us know. We definitely have a coaching class or education course that we offer to help with finding these other opportunities if you're looking to trade more. But we are trying to, we average about 4 to 5 trades a day, and we focus on the morning hours to go to those opportunities. So all right, we continue to downtick, coming down here to the 08 area. All right, we're down here at the 08 area. See what it wants to do down here. Again, whatever the market does, we are always keeping our stops in place. And there's a little rotation there in the bond market, as you can see. So sometimes we're following it, sometimes we're not, right? The bond market earlier made new highs, but we didn't. But now it's breaking down, and we've kind of followed it a little bit. So we like to have it up there because sometimes it's helper, but then sometimes not. All right, kind of working this 08 area here. All right, there's a nice rotation there against our '08 entry point there. When we scale in around that, I got down to 875, so my top end of my scale there is up at '09. Was able to get in there at the '09 area and had a nice little rotation here. Again, we talk about scaling in. I like to scale in a point above and below the level and see what it wants to do because we're not going to be perfect. And as long as we're on the same bar here until the bar closes on the 5 minute, we'll see if we have to cancel any of the other entries that we have underneath. And the bar closed here, so I'm going to adjust accordingly. If you had '08, obviously you didn't get them. It's a little bit more riskier now. So keep that in mind if you're going to keep the '08 in there. Since we had a nice rotation against '09, the '08 straight up is going to be a lot riskier. All right, again, if you're taking the '08, it's a little bit riskier. Maybe if you're going to do anything around this level, expect to go down to the '07 area. If you're going to take it at all, but if you got in there 9 made money and you're happy with that, that's good to go. Very, very choppy here all of a sudden. You can see the volatility has increased there a little bit. Always increases on the way down, right? We got down there to 7.5. We're still on the same bar, but obviously a lot riskier right now. They go down to that 8 and had a nice little pop. But again, it was going to be a little bit riskier. Whatever your risk tolerances are, depends on if you took that trade or not. And now we're just kind of next level on the downside we have is down at the 44.95 area. All right. Market very, very choppy all of a sudden here. Got some legs to the downside, but we went right down to our support level there and had a nice rotation. And now we're trying to see where it wants to go next. Downside support is down at the 44.95 area. A little resistance at around 15, but I would play that one tight. If we get above 17, I think we rally back to those highs earlier, about 23, 24 area. All right, coming down here to the 07. Again, you're only taking this trade if you're very aggressive. Otherwise, you're looking at the 44.95 next. All right, we'll continue to downtick, looking at the 44.95. All right, market got some legs here to the downside, looking at the 44.95 area next. All right, market continues to downtick. Anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. We gave you our levels early on this morning as the market opened up, and now we're just going to have to be a little bit patient. We've had 3 or 4 different opportunities already, depending on how aggressive you want it to be. Even though our first level we kind of got stopped out, but then we've done okay since. We traded our level here on the downside. He did all right. If you didn't take any of the other price action opportunities that we talked about, that's fine. All right, just kind of hang in here on the lows. A little resistance will be around the 14 area. All right, market rotating back up here, touch and support down at the 44.95 area. They got down to about 03-ish and pop back up. We're getting a little resistance around 14. All right, market here flushing back up here. They got everybody a little bit short, but whatever. Again, we are flat. We have resistance up at 14. Again, trying to stay out of trouble sometimes is more important than trading, right? Got to find your opportunities instead of just wanting to trade. Got to find good areas to get in, at least logical areas to get in, not just because you see the market moving one way and you feel that you should jump in. So we're quickly coming up here to the 14 area now. Again, make sure you keep your stops in place. We never know what creates volatility or what is the market looking at for these moves. All we can do is make sure we find an area that we think might work, and if it doesn't work, then just make sure you keep your stop in place. All right, coming up here to 14-15 area, which is our pivot and little resistance. See what it wants to do here. If it doesn't, above 17, I want to be out of any shorts. We're just kind of hanging here around our pivot area, a little resistance area. See where it wants to go. All right, trying to give us a little bit of a rotation here. All right, if you scale in there on 15 as well, you got a nice little pushback down here. Let's see if we can get a little bit more out of this. Again, there's, we're trying to get 2 points on some of these trades with some of these price action plays, especially when they make these moves. And if you give them a little bit of a profit, they take a little bit of a profit. The levels that we are going to use, though, we're trying to get maximize our profits there. But you have to respect the price action sometimes when you're applying price action plays. Right, back up here to these interim highs here. Again, it drift back down to 12 and change. And back up here, anything above 17, you want to be out of any shorts. You're going to stop in place. And we're just kind of hanging here, trying to give us a little bit of I mean, maybe if you're trading multiple contracts, you took some profits already, and just now you're just kind of trying to dig in a little bit more and making sure you keep your stop in place up there at 17 if you haven't gotten out already. All right, now we're just kind of just flat looking for, well, we already tested the 22, 23 area, so looking at 31 if you're just looking at our levels above. And if you took a, well, we're flat now. If you took that 17 area, if you took that 15, 16, 14, 15 area, and if you took some profits there when it rotated, that's great. Hopefully you're able to minimize your risk a little bit or change your risk exposure when it rotated off of that. And now we're coming back up here. Totally flat or a little bit bullish here. We can get up to, well, once we're above 17, looking for a push higher, but not really. Don't really have too much of an opinion, just out of any shorts and just let the market do its thing. All right, we're just kind of now hanging here, kind of flat, no opinion up here. All right, just kind of hanging around our pivot here, kind of going nowhere fast. Nice rotation there, gives a little quick scalping opportunity around the 15 first time to it. And now we're just kind of definitely no opinion. All right, we'll continue to uptick here. Again, you got above the pivot there, held the pivot on the rotation, and a little bit bullish if we're going to do anything. Definitely said we were out of any shorts above 17. So now we're just kind of trying to uptick here. Upside resistance would be all the way up at 31. All right, continue to uptick. Looking again, 23 area. If you're a little aggressive, anything above 25, you put a little stop in there if you're looking for an opportunity. But it's there if you want to take it. If not, just look for the 31 above. Again, everybody here has different risk tolerances, so